They told you these were people turned to stone, bodies frozen by divine wrath, a punishment carved in rock. But that's a lie. Let me tell you the truth behind Pompeii, the city that froze in time, but not the way you think. What you've seen in museums, in textbooks, on postcards, are not petrified humans. They're man-made, and the truth behind them is darker and stranger than the myth. Let me tell you the truth behind Pompeii, the city that froze in time, but not the way you think. Because on August 24th, 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius did not just bury a city. It created an illusion that fooled the world for centuries. An illusion so convincing that even today most still believe it. But illusions don't form on their own. They need ash, death, and a little human intervention to survive for 1,800 years. When you imagine ash, you picture something light, like the powder that drifts away at a touch. But volcanic ash is not that. These were microscopic shards of glass, razor sharp, heavy, suffocating. They fell without mercy, piling on streets, collapsing roofs. Beams snapped, tiles shattered. Families who thought their homes were protection discovered their homes were coffins. And then came the gas. Sulfur dioxide, invisible, odorless, deadly. It displaced oxygen, turning every breath into fire. The air itself betrayed them. Some died where they stood, clutching the walls. Some never woke from sleep. And a few, found on their knees, hands clasped together, waited for death like a prayer answered. In less than a day, Pompeii had become a tomb. When the eruption ended, Pompeii was gone. The city was buried alive. And yet, that burial saved it. 4 centuries later, the Roman Empire had turned Christian. The old gods were abandoned, pagan temples smashed, shrines erased, statues beheaded and burned. Rome destroyed every trace of its past, but Pompeii survived. Not because it was spared, but because it was already entombed. Hidden beneath layers of ash, it was forgotten, untouched, while the empire consumed itself. And when the dust finally cleared, Pompeii emerged as a time capsule, preserved by destruction itself. Centuries later, in the 19th century, archaeologist Giuseppe Fiorelli began excavations, and he noticed something strange. The ash wasn't solid stone. It was porous, and inside it were hollows, cavities shaped like bodies. The truth was devastating. The people of Pompeii had rotted away, their flesh long gone, but the voids in the ash remained. Outlines of the dead. Fiorelli had an idea. He poured plaster into the spaces, let it harden, and then he chipped the ash away. What emerged was haunting. Men and women twisted in their last moments, fists clenched, mouths open, children curled against their mothers. Not petrified sinners, not stone people, plaster ghosts. Faces and bodies frozen in their final agony. But why then the story of divine punishment? Why claim Pompeii was destroyed for its sins? The answer lies in its streets. Pompeii was a sailor's city, and at its port, carved into the stones, were strange symbols, male organs, etched like arrows, pointing the way to brothels. For Romans, these were guideposts, nothing more. But centuries later, religious authorities looked at them differently. They declared Pompeii a city of sin, a new Sodom, a new Gomorrah. And so the narrative was rewritten. Pompeii's people weren't killed by ash and gas, but by God's wrath, a convenient myth, one that still lingers today. Even now, excavations continue. More voids are found, more plaster is poured. and more faces emerge from the ash. Lovers holding one another, children curled against their mothers, even animals caught mid-movement. They are not statues, not petrified sinners. They are plaster poured into shadows where flesh once was. Pompeii is not a story of divine wrath. It is the closest thing humanity has ever made to time travel, a city caught in the exact instant when life stopped. So the next time someone tells you Pompeii's people were turned to stone, remember, they are not stone. They are not miracles of punishment. They are ghosts. And Pompeii is not a warning. It is silence itself, frozen for eternity.